Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our phone guests on the Shell Penzo Performance Line. Before we get to what's trending, Parada, our researcher down in New Orleans, you've been there as well for a bachelor party. So.
I have. My son Jake got married last July, so a little bit before that. We got a place down there. About 11 of us were in New Orleans for the weekend. It was
epic.
Well, New Orleans, I've said, as far as Super Bowls are concerned, if you give me 3 places and just keep rotating them, I'm fine.
Right.
As long as New Orleans is one of those, because you can walk everywhere. Mm-hmm. And listen, the beignets.
And you can throw up anywhere.
As long as you aren't belligerent, especially to the police who are there on horseback, you can basically do what you want and need to do out there and have a good time.
Right.
Just, don't be an idiot about it. It's a fantastic play. We had a ball. We had a great time. I love New Orleans. I think it's a fantastic city.
It definitely is one of the all-time champs, especially for that. Here is what's trending. Tiger Woods shooting 73 in the first round of the Masters, playing his first Masters in 3 years. The 42-year-old made just 3 birdies, failing to birdie any of the par 5s. His first over par score on the PGA Tour since February's Genesis Open. So disappointment there for Tiger. Did not fare well there, Mike.
Yeah, they're going to get in your ear in just a minute here. Yeah, Tiger, we're going to talk a little more about Tiger Woods and the rest of the Masters and what's going on. The big thing with Tiger was 4 par 5s, and he parred them all. Didn't make up anything there. The driver really kind of hurt him in this one. So he's 7 behind. We'll see what Spieth does today. We just had Nota Began from the Golf Channel. I think Spieth will be at 10 under by the end of the day today. So how close can people be to him, or do a couple of people have those out of their mind rounds today? How close can you stay to the lead?
Yeah, more Masters talk in just a second. Major news from the NBA, though, is Kyrie Irving is out for the regular season and the playoffs. Going to have surgery tomorrow to remove 2 screws in his left knee. He's expected to make a full recovery in 4 to 5 months. But this is a huge blow for the 26-year-old and the Celtics. They're done now.
No, they absolutely are. Listen, so March 24th, he got the tension wire taken out of his knee. And now with the possibility, infection in the knee with the screws, they're taking those out as well, I believe, tomorrow. So he's going to miss that time. And this was a team anyway that I thought was still a little bit ways away. I didn't expect them to be challenging for the Eastern Conference Championship. We talk about Toronto. We talk obviously about Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And the move Philly is making, especially when they get Embiid back, which they should at some point in the first round. With Boston, I mean, I still love what's going on. It all looks structurally sound for Kyrie Irving. It's just a matter of getting, any infection out of there and being ready to go. Hayward looks like he's going to be ready to go. I still think the future is bright there, but I didn't think they were going to be a team that was going to be in it this year.
Yeah, tough enough to overcome the loss to Gordon Hayward, and now Kyrie Irving as well. Boston cooked. This story is just bananas. UFC star Conor McGregor charged by New York police with 3 counts of assault and 1 count of criminal mischief after turning himself into police following an incident yesterday in Brooklyn. 29-year-old showed up at a UFC 223 media event, was caught on camera throwing a hand dolly through the window of a bus that was carrying UFC fighters. Quite simply, he went berserk, and he injured several fighters now because 3 of the 5 fights have been impacted. It was nuts. It was so nuts. A part of this feels like it was staged.
Yeah, again, this happened down in the concourse, quite honestly, where you see a lot of the WWE fights behind the scenes. So it was down there, and he picks up that dolly and throws, and you could see it go through the window of the bus, ended up cutting one of the players in the face and in the arms. And as you mentioned, 3 of the fights had to be canceled or aren't going to go. And that's where people are saying, no, it wasn't staged. Why would you stage something where you're losing, you're not getting fights in one of your events? And while I understand that, so I wonder if it's a staged event that went too far. We also know Conor McGregor can be off the rails. So, that there is that side of it that says, okay, could this thing actually be true? But man, I mean, his whole group, how they were able to get down there, it just all seemed right as the bus is leaving.
WrestleMania this weekend.
WrestleMania this weekend. WWE now has Ronda Rousey, who used to be with the UFC. So I don't know. All I'm saying is, while I can't 100% say I think it was staged, I certainly no way can say 100%. Wow, that was just something. Conor McGregor lost his mind, and that was absolutely real. I don't know at this point. The shame is some people did get hurt, and I love, UFC. I love the MMA, and this was going to be at the Barclays, a big event, and now 3 of those fights not going to happen. That is a shame because I do enjoy watching that. But they have been out of the news for a while.
Lost for a little bit.
It did, with Ronda Rousey falling, losing and not being the big shot that she was. Conor McGregor taking over, but then in the boxing ring, hasn't fought in the UFC since. It's kind of lost its shine. Boxing has come back, I think, a little bit in a lot of people's minds. So maybe they were looking for a little jump on the headlines. I don't know. But I'm certainly not ready to say, boy, this was completely real. No way.
Yeah, you watch that video and right away you think,
that escalated quickly.
Sure did.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
He didn't, and Conor McGregor didn't get a chance to lay low.
No, exactly. Right now he's in prison thinking,
I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I don't know. Also, baseball news to pass along. Rangers third baseman Adrian Beltre, the all-time leader in hits among Latin American-born players. He broke a tie with the Hall of Famer Rod Carew, 3,054th career hit. Beltre is a native of the Dominican Republic. He reached the milestone. They lead-off double in the second inning against the A's. The only foreign-born player with more career hits than Beltre in baseball history is the Mariners' Ichiro Suzuki, who is currently back with Seattle now after starting his career there. He's at 3,082. So Beltre and Ichiro still going. That's awesome.
That really, really is amazing. And Rod Carew, is there a more copied stance when you're having fun in the backyard than the Rod Carew batting stance? I know I did it. I wasn't even a right, I wasn't even a lefty, but I would turn around and do that. I just love that stance.
You feel like with guys like him and Tony Gwynn, they can just flick it wherever they want. Ichiro, same thing. Just get a bat on the ball and just flick it wherever they want.
Rod Carew was so much fun to watch hit the ball. So congrats to Beltre for that, and certainly to Ichiro for having the lead, as you mentioned, from foreign-born players.
Yeah, future Hall of Famers, both those guys. Certainly impressive work they're still doing on the diamond, and that is what is trending. Adnan Burke in for Trade is Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Dahntay Jones, the NBA champion, is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, so just about 20 minutes from now. And don't forget, Masters Round 2 coverage is later today on ESPN. In honor of that, we're going to do a little over-under.
Over-under with Golic and Wingo.
Over-under brought to you by Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Run your business from your mobile phone. See how it works at grasshopper.com. Over-under. We kick it off first here. We're going to go with the NBA playoffs.
All right.
Over-under, the second round of the NBA playoffs. How far will the Celtics advance, sir, without Kyrie Irving?
Oh, I think that's under. I don't expect a lot out of them for this playoffs. I mean, already with Hayward out, but they were playing well. You're not going to go for it. Where are you going without Kyrie? Again, I love how young they are. You sit there and you look where they are now, locked up obviously in that 2 seed right now. So who are they going to face? At this point, it would be Washington, but that still can change at the bottom of the playoffs for that Eastern Conference. We'll see. But they're certainly not getting past the second round. So they can get to the second round, but they're not getting past that. So I'll go under. Winning the second round.
Yeah, Wizards have been scuffling, so I like Boston against them. The Bucks, I like Jabari Parker. I think Milwaukee would give them a good go. Maybe they play the Miami Heat, but I'm with you. At best, Boston would win a round, so I'll take the under when it comes to the second round of the NBA playoffs for them. All right, next up, over-under 3.5 NBA teams that you think can win the NBA title.
So I'm going to start this by saying sorry, Adnan. So I think you know which team I'm knocking.
You're out
of
on the
that.
Raptors. We the North.
3 teams: Cleveland, Houston, Golden State. So I would go under on that. I'm just not putting Toronto there. They got to show me something in the play. Maybe they will this year.
Yeah.
Maybe they will. But at this point, that's where they certainly have had their troubles. So I go with 3. Those 3: Cleveland, Houston, Golden State. So I go under.
I will take the over, even though I don't necessarily
figured you
believe
would.
it. I don't necessarily even buy my own logic, but all right. I want to think, is there any other teams that could crash the party? Philadelphia is one that's intriguing. You saw Adrian Wojnarowski talking about it and saying, hey, even Tim Legler said in this program, don't be shocked if they get to the finals. Now, the question is winning it, but obviously if you get there, who knows what could happen. Right. So maybe Philadelphia could be that team out of the East. It feels like, other than Cleveland or Toronto, maybe Philly, that's it. And out of the West, Houston, Golden State, I don't think you can find anybody, Mike, that would say, yeah, I'm buying Portland at 3, Utah, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, New Orleans, Minnesota. Then it gets a little bit tricky. So I will take the over, even though I do it grudgingly. 0.5 number of UFC fights Conor McGregor will have this year.
Well, this has nothing to do with what went on with Conor losing his mind. I said this after the Mayweather fight when Conor McGregor made more money than he'll ever make in the UFC combined, that he's not going to fight in the octagon again. He may still be involved in it somehow, some way, but not going to fight. And what this did, if it was staged to help maybe a big comeback, because, he's going to want to go back in there, obviously, for a monster payday. I think his biggest payday was 11 or 15 million or something like that. No. That was just what his purse was, $3 million. With the pay-per-view money on top of it, he got like 11 million or so. Sure. But obviously, the Mayweather fight was way, way, way more than that.
Right.
So he's going to want that big payday again. I don't know. Is it going to happen again? After what went on with Mayweather and then this, I'm going to say under. I said he's not fighting again in the UFC, and there's nothing that's happened that's going to change my mind unless I hear he blew all his money all of a sudden and needs any kind of a payday. Haven't heard anything like that, so I'm going under and saying he's not.
And to solidify the under pick, here's what Dana White said yesterday after McGregor went bananas.
This is the most disgusting thing that has ever happened in the history of the company.
And more to the point, would you want to be in business with this guy?
Do you want to be in business with Conor McGregor right now? Do you want to chase this guy around for interviews and buy his fights? Do you? Yeah. No, I don't think anybody is going to want to right now. No, I think everybody's going to be pretty disgusted with Conor McGregor right now.
I don't think anybody's going to want to right now. You know what he didn't say? He didn't say no.
So hang on. Because now I'm going to box you in, because you're saying under that he fights this year, but you're suspicious that he may have been in cahoots with Dana White. So would that not lend credence to the fact that... It would lend
credence to maybe they want to work it out, but if it doesn't all fall in line with him, monster payday, did this whole thing, if it was set up a little bit, work to where he's going to get the payday he wants, and if he doesn't, then he's not going to, and then to me, he's not going to get back in the ring.
So there's mutual interest, but the money and other factors.
Listen, money's the driving factor. Right. What else is he fighting for?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I know these guys fight because they love to fight, but this guy got a taste of the high life money wise. So I'm sure there's part of him. I've been the champ, even though they're taking the belt away from him. I've been a champ. I've won in the ring, so I don't have to prove myself in against the ring. And if I'm going to go in the ring, I'm going to go in the ring for a hell of a lot of money.
Over under 4.5. So 4.5 strokes. Tiger Woods needs to be within the leader after today in order to have a realistic chance to win the Masters. He's currently 7 off the lead, and he tees off at 1:27 Eastern today, just about 5 hours from now.
I mean, I'll go over to think if he's 5 strokes back and has 2 days to play that he can't catch if he gets out. Again, especially if it's going to be in bad weather. Who plays well in bad weather?
That's what I'm going to go under. I think if it's over 4.5, I don't think he can make up 5 strokes in bad weather.
I mean, who knows? I mean, the person that's leading may screw it up in bad weather. Right. I mean, I think it's more unpredictable then. So I'll go over. I'll say if he's 5 strokes back and has 2 days that he could, I'd say anybody could. I'd put anybody at least at 5 strokes back that they couldn't make it up, especially if it's bad weather. Yeah. And they happen to be hitting it well and the people in front of them make a few mistakes here and there. Yeah. So I'll go over on that.
And over under 5.5 golf balls that you will lose playing in Hootie and the Blowfishes Monday after the Masters tournament. The reason the guys put together 5.5 here, Sergio Garcia putting 5 balls into the water on the 15th hole yesterday in that epic 13 he carded in the opening round of the Masters.
So this is a scramble format, which I love. Mm-hmm. You know, I love it because the ball's always usually in a good spot, you know, to play. Mm-hmm. And we, if I'm playing with the same group I played with last year, Pat Weiss is one of the guys I play with, Charlie Weiss's brother, Pat, who I played in many tournaments with, especially this one and others for a lot of years. We have a good driver, I believe, we had in our group last year. We'll have again this year. I think it was like a 2-time long driving champ. Somebody good to have on your side. So I think our drives will be in good shape, so the ball will actually be in good shape. There is no doubt, though, I will still, even though it's a scramble and the ball will be laying nice, I will lose over 5.5 golf balls.
I was going to say, that seems like a really safe bet. I mean, I don't think that's an insult to you.
I think the more fun would be, how many drinks and cigars am I going to have in this round? I think that would be the better over-under.
I think the over-under was 9 for the round.
9 for the front 9, quite honestly. 5.5 balls. I mean, I keep at least 24 in the bag at all times. And then usually I'm borrowing from other people. Again, because even if you probably think you could find my ball, I say, don't worry about it. I don't care about it. Don't worry about going and finding it. I don't need it that badly. Let's just move on.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that's the over to it, because even though you're a former athlete, you're not uber competitive when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, I don't care. Let's just go. Let's move.
You know what I am in these events? I'm the number one putter. There's 5 in the group. Yeah. I'm that guy. I'm coachable.
Your short game's unbelievable.
Well, it's not that. It's I can listen to direction, and if I don't make the putt, I can give you the line. That's what the first putter is supposed to do. You got 5 shots to make a putt. Yeah. You got to get that first guy to give you that line. That's what I do. Sometimes it goes in, and, we all crack another beer. Or sometimes it just is a good line so that, second, third, or fourth guy can make it. That's my contribution. Every now and then I hit a shot that works, but for the most part, it's putting.
But you're setting up the lines. That's pretty good.
Trying to.
I like it. All right. That was over-under. Well, we have a couple of minutes. Dahntay Jones is going to join us 10 minutes from now. I do want to get back to the story because it's just so crazy, and I feel like you must have more animal stories in your arsenal of life. James Paxton, the Mariners left-hander yesterday, he's standing alone in left field. He's taking a break from warm-up throws to the pregame ceremony. A bald eagle brought in for a flight over the playing field before the national anthem became confused. Rather than soaring to the mound to reach his summoning handlers, the bird flew toward Paxton, causing the pitcher to jerk his body backward to avoid being grazed. He said after the game, "I'm not going to outrun an eagle, so I just thought we'll see what happens." The eagle named Challenger landed in the grass for circling back, finding a perch on his right shoulder, and afterwards he was taken away. As Paxton said, "I guess the eagle knew I was Canadian. I don't know, but it came for me." I mean, if you're watching this on ESPN News, that is incredible poise, because I think you're right, Mike. Somebody hears an eagle, they go, all right, what's the big deal? When you actually see them, and if you see them up close, that's a terrifying spectacle. The bald eagle's coming at you.
I'm telling you, and if you haven't seen it, we're showing it now, but if you haven't seen it, it's all over the internet. You got to check it out, because exactly right. That thing is way bigger than you would think. And now it's coming at you. And it's got the sharp talons on it. For the Paxton, he didn't move his feet. He ducked down and moved around. He did not move his feet. I would have wet myself. I mean, it's ridiculous. People would have run, and you don't know what it would have done if you ran. I have no idea. But there's no doubt I would have freaked out. He is a champ. The way he handled that. When that eagle landed on his shoulder, all I have to say is there was a moment that the eagle was on his shoulder and he stood up, and it almost looked like the eagle belonged there. I hope somebody got a picture of that, because for one click of the picture, it will look like he's standing straight up and there's an eagle perched on his shoulder. That will be one of the coolest pictures you'll ever have.
You're right. There's that moment right there.
Right there's a moment he stands up, boom, right.
The eagle has landed.
Take the picture. and you have, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
There's that great documentary Grizzly Man, Werner Herzog did, and they talk about, like, if you're ever in the woods and you see a bear, kind of like what Paxton's saying with the eagle, you're not going to outrun the eagle. It's the same thing with the bears. You're just going to stay calm and because obviously the animal is frightened once you react in a hysterical manner. So just stay calm, although I couldn't imagine doing that.
You know where I've learned it doesn't really matter if you stay calm? When I was in Africa on safari, when you're out where the real animals are roaming and stuff.
Yeah.
They staying calm and all that doesn't work. Just don't go near them.
At the end of the day, they're wild animals.
Let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? You do you. I'm going to stay in this Jeep.
All right, coming up next, we'll be joined in the studio by NBA champion Dahntay Jones. How many teams does he think can hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy? Hopefully he'll take the over. We'll ask him after this.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Love scoring amazing hotel deals? Then you've got to get the Hotel Tonight app. Forget scrolling through never-ending lists of hotels. Hotel Tonight shows you a select list of incredible deals at hotels you actually want to stay at. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can book up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else. Want to get those deals? Yeah, you do. Download the Hotel Tonight app now.
Adnan Verkin for Trey. We are Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We'll get back to the golf and the Masters talk coming up at the top of the hour with our man Michael Collins. He's always entertaining and exuberant. And speaking of entertaining and exuberant, we got the NBA champion, Dahntay Jones. He's going to light it up. He's joining us in the studio, giving the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. Dahntay, we start with Boston. Kyrie Irving's done. Amazing what they did without Gordon Hayward, and now obviously with Irving out, going to be tough for Boston to win a series. Currently as a 2 seed, could face the Wizards, could face the Bucks. Do you like them to win a round, 2 rounds? How many?
I like them to win a round because I think they have enough talent, young talent, and they're coached by an amazing coach in Brad Stevens. I think they can get through the first round, but I think it's going to be tough without a go-to guy to win past the first round. It's going to be missing Kyrie, his leadership, his championship mentality is going to be rough for them. They don't have a guy they can give the ball to in the fourth quarter and be like, just make a play or score for us and carry us home. So that's what you need in the playoffs at this point in time.
I had thought even with Kyrie that they probably weren't going to make it to the finals this year. That maybe obviously
not the finals. Right. Finals is not what I even spoke about.
Like, no, exactly.
Second
even with Kyrie, I still don't think they would have got there. But I think they're built so well for the future. I like what Danny Ainge has done there with Hayward. He'll be coming back, obviously. Kyrie Young, the 2 other couple of youngsters they have. I do think this is a team of the future that is going to be right up there. Do you agree with that?
They're going to be that team that you're going to say, yeah, next year they're going to do it. And that may be the same case for next year. Like, you never know what the injuries situation is and the maturity level and how this is going to play into it. So right now, the present day, they're not a championship level team. It's just what it is.
Right.
You start to wonder then, Dahntay, with Boston out of the mix, so to speak, who does this help? Which team is going to rise to the forefront? We'll get to Cleveland, Toronto in a second, but
we'll get to Toronto.
Yeah. But Philadelphia now, it looks to be a very intriguing pick. Without Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons is a monster. Could be a 3 seed. Huge game tonight, obviously, against Cleveland. What do you think about Philly's chances?
I think Philly has the best chance right now to challenge Cleveland in the East because they're built in a capacity to compete with Cleveland. However, their youth, their coaching, like everything's coming together for them at this point in time in the season. And I think they're moving in the right trajectory to just be a good playoff team and to be the team to watch out for the future in the East.
As far as that team in Philadelphia, when you watch what Embiid is doing, but for Ben Simmons, at 6'10" to be controlling the ball the way he is, everyone goes to Magic Johnson, but you got in the league in 2003? Yeah. So, in your time in the league looking at players, is he separating himself from those at that size to do what he's doing, or where does he fit in?
Yeah, we haven't seen, since Magic, we haven't seen a point guard that's 6'8" or better and can see the floor and make plays like him. He's just not passing the ball and making normal point guard plays. He's seeing the floor, seeing things happen 2-3 steps beforehand, and making extraordinary plays. I think Colangelo did a great job of surrounding him with shooters, especially later in the season, and now it makes him more dangerous to attack the basket and make plays.
What do you think of Markelle Fultz? Where do you think that's going to go?
I think that can only go in upper direction because we haven't seen we haven't seen him mature yet. I think he's scratched the surface of his talent. He can score the ball at a high level. And he can be what Ben Simmons is not and give them a scorer to put the ball in their hands and to get buckets.
Obviously, you played with LeBron James. I mean, last night was amazing the way that they came back. 16-point deficit, Dahntay, with 6 minutes left. It's his 15th season. MVP conversation. Man. Are you as amazed as the rest of us are?
What I'm amazed at is that I know he's only operating on like 75% capacity right now. Honestly and truthfully, I think there's another notch that he can go to when the playoff starts. And if everybody in the room knows that I'm going to play 100 games and the last 25 are the most important, wouldn't you be building up to that last 100? So I know like it's going to be an exciting playoffs because he has more to give. Like he even last night, you saw him kind of wait for those moments to get. And when he locked it in the last 7 minutes, there was nothing you can do with him. And I don't see a team that in the East, especially that can contain him for those last 6 minutes. As long as his team is in it, and we even saw last night, even if his team is not in it, he can make plays and put you right back in the game and win you a game in the last 6 minutes.
The one thing I've seen from athletes of today, from going back from when I was playing in Athletes then, is how much better they take care of themselves.
Right.
So the one thing I never like hearing about an athlete is he works harder than anybody else. A lot of people work hard.
Modern medicine, education,
so,
we know better now.
So with LeBron, but when somebody is doing what they're doing 15 years into the league, and you've seen him up close and personal, just so off the court, I mean, in taking care of yourself, how different has it been with him?
He stood out over my career and watching, just being around great people, great athletes. He takes care of his body at like the highest level. He performs at the highest level. He trains at the highest level, and he's exceptionally gifted. So like when you put all those together, that's what you get in that package. He's special. He's been given some God-given ability that like everyone doesn't have, but he also matches that with an extreme work ethic, and he's like maniacal about how he takes care of his body, what he puts in his body. So it's just that's the output you get right there. You see him being able to last longer than most people. His body is durable, and he's playing at a level in year 15 that you never thought. It's like Tom Brady-ish.
Yeah.
You see the fruits of his labor. We're talking right now with Dahntay Jones, NBA champion of the Cavs in 2016. We did a little over-under, me and Mike, of NBA teams that can win the NBA championship. We put the over-under at 3.5. Are you taking the over, or are you taking the under?
3.5?
Yeah.
3 teams that can win an NBA championship.
So you're going under.
Yeah, I'm going under.
And those teams are?
Cleveland, Golden State. You can never knock them out. And
right.
Houston. That's who we're deciding on who's going to win the NBA championship.
You didn't say Toronto. Tell us why no Toronto.
He hates Canadians.
I don't hate Canadians. I have two great guys over there in Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Dwayne Casey's an amazing coach. They're just not ready to win an NBA championship, and that doesn't say anything about those guys. It's just it takes a lot to win an NBA championship. If you put that team and those guys up against the 3 teams I said,
what do they need? Because a lot of people have said they're playing different this year. It's
more
not the
threes,
same Toronto.
better bench, yeah.
What puts them at that level?
They don't have a guy you can give the ball to in the fourth quarter and say, "Go get us a bucket, put us on your back, and take us home."
You don't think DeRozan's that guy?
While he's an amazing scorer, I don't think he's that guy to just say, "Just go get it," because it's hard. There's not that many people in the league that can do that. You're talking about Kevin Durant. You're talking about Kawhi Leonard when he's healthy. You're talking about LeBron James. You're talking about James Harden. But after that, who do we have? And you say, just go win us a game every night.
Yeah, as my friend Ryan Russillo said to me, he goes, Toronto's one of those teams that unless once you show me, then I'll believe it. Like there's been too much past history of disappointment of being a 1 seed, of having the home crowd, and then it being a disappointment. You just can't buy it until you finally see.
And then these 2 late season games with Cleveland showing their dominance against them and taking on the challenge and just proving that we are the team to beat in the East.
Right.
It's just killed the mood around there in Toronto, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, over in the West with Golden State, you know the injuries the players are dealing with, and our sports are different, how you can handle injuries and what you can play with and what you can't play with. Are there injuries with the Golden State that worry you about them in the playoffs being at the top of their game?
I'm worried about Steph's knee, and I'm worried they're going to be able to pull it together. You can't just turn it on and a championship mentality. All the years they've been great. They've been consistently great throughout the course of the season. They just carried it to the postseason. Now it's like it's a roller coaster ride with them. You see their emotions being shown on the court. You see some uncertainty in their body language now. Their effort level is not there. They're not like last night. Indiana, they just made more plays. They were scrappier. They contested shots. They got on the floor. They just made more winning plays. You don't see that out of the guys currently on the court right now for them, and that's gonna take a toll in the playoffs when you have a team like Houston who is extremely hungry. And I'm scared if an OKC gets to the 7th seed because they're hungry. They haven't totally figured it out, but if something clicks where they can beat them in the first round, then you got a different monster, a different beast in the playoffs with them too as well.
Last one for you, Dahntay. The Kawhi Leonard saga has been fascinating in that he says he's not ready. The team thinks he should be ready. The players are wondering when he's going to come back. Take a listen to Mike and Adrian Wojnarowski. This was earlier today on Golic and Wingo.
Kawhi Leonard's got, 1 year and $21 million or something left on that deal. Will he be with San Antonio next year?
It's unclear.
3.3 seconds.
A long pause by Woj on that one. about Kawhi Leonard. As I said, as Greg Popovich looks longingly toward New York saying, come back, come back. What do you make of this?
We finally have turmoil in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And they've had such a great run of just keeping everything in-house and everything smooth, and we're winning. And it's some sort of disconnect between Kawhi and the organization. And I applaud him for taking care of his body and take control of his career because, as I've said before, no one has sympathy on the athlete when the athlete comes back too soon. If he comes back and he's not the Kawhi from the playoffs or that Golden State Warriors series or that even that season he had last year, then we turn all of our attention on him, and Kawhi is not performing. Kawhi was a bust, and Kawhi is just, it's all negative on Kawhi. But they're not going to say, "Oh, San Antonio brought him back too early." Oh, his body is not working the right way. Oh, he's fighting through injury. We're not going to give him those exceptions. We're just going to just jump down his throat on performance. So obviously, Kawhi is not comfortable in playing right now, and his team are doing the right things for him to make sure that he can have longevity over his career rather than just taking advantage of this San Antonio season.
San Antonio next year can offer him that Supermax, $229 million. Ooh. If he says no to that, you trade him?
Yeah, you get something for him because people will give up the house for him. He's a, in my opinion, he's the second best player when healthy in the NBA. It's LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant. But a team will give up draft picks, players, like they will give something up for him to have him in the future, and especially if you think that he'll have the possibility of signing that Supermax with your team. So I'm excited to see what happens and see if they offer it, if he takes it or not. Like that's the drama of the next series of drama coming up for the NBA season.
Dahntay Jones, way too well dressed for Golic and Wingo.
You look really good.
You don't have to go to the sports center.
Next time I'm coming in here with no shirt on and I'm have my shirt open so I can blend in with you guys. I'm sorry, I got Sports Center. I apologize.
As I said, if you can be around with no shirt on, do it, because if I do it, I'm like a vanilla milkshake. So
that's not true.
You can't do it.
It's not that bad.
So, it is.
All right, Dahntay, thank you, man.
Winning at sports and at sports broadcasting means changing things up.
Just like La Quinta Inns and Suites is changing up their look.
A renovated lobby that's so contemporary it even makes Golic look cool.
Yes, it does. And a totally updated fitness center that even has Wingo feeling like a workout.
I'm ripped. Plus plenty of comfortable spaces to hang out.
Yep, this La Quinta look definitely has a vibe of victory.
So you can just relax, refresh, and get ready for your next big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
One of the more epic moments of Golic and Wingo history. Ronda Rousey just taking her to task. Just couldn't, and she was feisty all day.
She was feisty all day.
Max Kellerman, Jeremy Schaap. Who's got issues with Jeremy Schaap?
One of the nicest guys around.
Unbelievable. Really. Sergio Garcia is a very nice guy. He was kind enough to join us recently on Golic and Wingo. I was actually with Trey that day on the program.
Yep.
And it was interesting. With Sergio, he had that unbelievable meltdown, right? 15 yesterday on 13. He named his daughter...
No, on 13 on 15.
Right, because
he carded a 13 on the 15th hole. Right, exactly.
Azalea is his daughter's name, which is the 13th hole.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, this was the thought that... Hang on a second. I'm all confused.
Yeah.
Or to tweet first. All right, so Sergio said, what happened on 15, the Masters yesterday, was unfortunate for me, and it hurt, but I tried to handle it like a Masters champion. This was after somebody tweeted him. Rich Lerner saying Sergio will not be naming his next kid Firethorn.
Right.
So Sergio went on to tweet, that same hole gave me that green jacket last year, so we might end up naming our next kid Firethorn after all. Funny man.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what he said about the hole. Again, Firethorn got him the green jacket last year. You got to put it on him. But this year, it cost him by carding a 13 on it, and very well, it may cost him the fact that he's got a lot of downtime before he has to put the green jacket on somebody else.
And here was Trey asking him about it on the program.
I'd like to suggest perhaps the next child be named Firethorn, which is the second par 5, Sergio, on the back nine, as you well know, because that is actually the best hole you've played in terms of your entire career at Firethorns. So maybe that's the next one we go down if we're continuing this trend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that name will go.
See, he knew, because you can tell by his answer. Like, what if I get a 13?
I am still amazed at that hole. It really was like watching Tin Cup. It really was. Another ball. And it was the same way in Tin Cup with Kevin Costner when he's, trying to reach the par 5 and 2. It's rolling back off the green into the water.
I'm playing it from right here, now. This is the last ball you got in the bag, Roy. Give me a ball. Give me another ball. Give me another ball. Give me another ball. Little gust from the gods cost me.
Gotta wonder what the conversation was, or if there was any with the caddy. I guess they're really, what are you going to say? You need another ball. You got to drop it. You got to hit another one. Right. This was real life, though, not a fictional movie, right. Where the thought was, I was thinking, just knock it deep. Just get it on the green. But you got to believe the mentality of Sergio at that point was, I'm hitting good shots.
Right.
You know what? And every time I knock in the water, it's costing me a couple strokes. I need to get it close to try and save this thing and stop the bleeding. Mm-hmm. When a lot of people are thinking, just go deep, man. Just go deep and just, two putt it in and come home and get off that hole. But a 13. So he's 9 over for the tournament, 15 behind. And again, he has to hang around till Sunday and put that green jacket on the next winner.
But I like your idea, though. He's going to miss the cut and then just take off for the weekend.
Either that,
and then come back when you get the green jacket on.
As I first tweeted, he's got to golf again today.
Right.
Have a ball, man. I mean, put the beer cup hat on.
Right. Have some friends out there, a caddy for you. Just go nuts.
Then I got chastised by some guy who talked about, the reverence of Augusta and the Masters.
That doesn't get
can't
stale.
do that. And I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Dude's not going to make the cut. He was a champ last year. Then he's got to, as I said, go to the tourism shack and find out what he can do in Augusta for a couple days, or just get out of Dodge and come back.
Yeah, exactly. Figure out what to do. Yeah. Full Masters coverage coming up in 10 minutes here at the top of the hour. But while we have a minute, just a couple minutes here to talk movies with you.
Yes.
I know you haven't seen it yet, but Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One, #1 movie at the box office. It's based on a book, and it involves these characters in the future. They're so disgusted by the doldrums of reality, they put on the virtual reality glasses.
I saw the previews of it. I've seen it, and I'm not going to lie. I watched the previews, and I'm like, no. Me and my wife go to the movies. We watch previews, and we both rate it, look at each other, say, oh, we're going to see that, oh, we're not. Like Blockers is coming out soon.
Which is also opening today. Yeah.
Absolutely going to see that one. This one we watched and we were both like, I don't know.
Right. If you like kind of, Spielberg's populist roots and entertainment, sci-fi and thought, I thought it was well done. Typical corny ending, which unfortunately he suffers from. But I thought Ready Player One, I gave it 3 Maple Leafs. And you mentioned Blockers. That's a rare R-rated comedy directed by a woman.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow kind of owns that territory of those types of movies, the 40-year-old virgin knocked up. But
like John Cena. John Cena, another guy from the sports world and the wrestling into the acting world.
Fearless.
I dig what he does. I think he's a fun guy, with the, you look
when
at
he was in the Amy Schumer movie, Trainwreck, he was really
big
funny.
Guys like a Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and what he's doing, he's just huge in the movies now. And Cena, I think, does a good job. So I'm looking forward to that one. It looks really funny.
Yeah, the trailer is definitely out there. My friend Ben Lyons, ESPN LA 710, saw it. He said, it's definitely vulgar and aggressive, but but it hits all the marks you'd want to hit with. So Blockers opening in theaters. Also a volleyball movie. If you're a sports fan, Helen Hunt's in a movie called The Miracle Season. That's opening this weekend based on a true story. Came out of Iowa, so she plays a volleyball coach.
I saw the previews of that one. Intrigued me a little bit. Yeah. I like the true story sports stuff.
I was going to say, good father-daughter story. You and Sydney, I think, would appreciate that. So check out Cinephile, ESPN app, and on iTunes. We recently had Helen Hunt on the podcast. Please rate and review. Coming up next, we go live to Augusta next. Is Tiger out of this thing, or does he realistically have a chance? We'll ask our favorite former caddy. It's Adnan Burke in for Trey Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Next, you're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie, this does look fun. You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
There's a lot to get to with the NBA, with Kyrie Irving done for the season. UFC star Conor McGregor going nuts, but we begin with the Masters. We're all over it here at ESPN, and Michael Collins is one of the best. ESPN golf analyst joining us right now on that Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Michael, always love your energy and the fact you bring lots of enthusiasm. Tiger Woods could have used a little bit more of that zest yesterday as he struggled. He did say that at least he fought his way back into it, thinks he can make a run. How realistic is that in your estimation?
Well, it's extremely realistic. You have to remember that Tiger Woods has had 18 pro starts at the Masters. Only one time did he break 70. Just once. So at 1 over par and not birdieing any of the par fives, it's one of those things where Tiger coming into this week, the hype was big, but the reality I kept trying to tell people was chill. Just chill. It's a major. Even Tiger has to have steps coming back to a major. So I'm not worried about Tiger Woods whatsoever. And I think because the conditions are going to be perfect on Friday with warmer temperatures, Tiger's going to put a good score on the scoreboard today.
And people think a lot of others will as well, maybe even Jordan Spieth, and we'll get to him in a minute. So as far as Tiger is concerned, because we hear the weekend could be some bad weather, how close in your mind does Tiger need to be to the lead after today to make a realistic run for the weekend?
Well, you got to start with this, Golic. Do you think Tiger Woods realistically has a chance to win this weekend?
I do not.
I mean, if the answer is yes, see, me and you are in the same boat. I think Tiger's going to win on the PGA Tour, but I don't think he's ready to win the Masters, a major, out the box in his 6th start coming back from the injury. Now, if he was going to put himself into position, he needs to be going into Saturday with the weather forecast 2 to 3 shots back, maybe 4 at the most. But you're talking about Tiger Woods going against Jordan Spieth, and now Rory McIlroy seems to be in form too. When it comes to the Masters, this right now is Jordan Spieth's house.
And you mentioned that, and this is honestly crazy what he's doing, because a stretch of 5 straight birdies yesterday, he finished the day at 6 under, Michael. You mentioned it's his house right now. How do you view his level of play?
Well, the thing about Jordan Spieth is Jordan reminds me a lot of Phil Mickelson when he comes to Augusta, because it doesn't matter what he's doing and what part of his game seems bad. When he gets to the Masters, he just kind of goes, oh, yeah, I got this. I know this place. I'm good. I figured it out. Don't worry. I got it. No worries. And that's how he plays. He is so freed up when he's playing at this golf course that he just goes out there and looks more relaxed than anybody else on the golf course.
You know, we had Nota Begay on earlier, and he thinks Spieth at the end of today will be at 10 under. What do you think? What do you think that number? Because you said the weather's going to be nice. What do you think that number realistically could be?
Yeah, I mean, looking at Jordan Spieth, and the thing is, he made a great bogey save on the last hole. He had gotten a 7 under par and finished at 6, which is going to make him hungry going into Friday. Don't be surprised if Jordan Spieth shoots another 66. 79 degrees. The wind is only going to get up to about 10 miles an hour. But Jordan said he likes it when there's a little more wind because it's easier for him to shape shots. The other guy to look out for, Rory McIlroy. I think Jordan gets to between 10 and 11 under par, and look to Rory McIlroy to be about 9 under par. Those two, if they go toe-to-toe on the weekend, come on, boy.
Well, the guy that I would have that reaction to, Michael, is Tony Finau, tied for second at 400, despite the fact he dislocated his ankle. That was unbelievable to see. That's my guy now.
Yeah, he's my guy, too. And let me tell you something. When's the last time that you called a golfer from Utah gangster? Because watching him pop that ankle back in, and you were like, oh, man, his first time at the Masters, and he's done. And he comes out the next day and is like, no, I got this. Don't worry. He's also one of the longest hitters out here on tour. And with that kind of power, you're worried about him getting to that left side. But he swings so smooth. That's one of the things about being tall and skinny. I wouldn't know nothing about that, so I might be a little bit bitter. Whatever.
How does he look? It doesn't seem like he's limping much, and while he can't rehab the injury because he's playing every day, he just has to manage it. How has he looked walking around?
Yeah, he hasn't looked like he's been limping at all. He looks like he knows that it was uncomfortable in the mornings, but it seems like the more that he walks and the more adrenaline that's flowing, the more comfortable he gets on the golf course. And it's one of those things where you just think to yourself, okay, you know what? I got this. I'm going to have to deal with it. But once you start playing really good golf, you're not really thinking about that. It's like the bag being heavy. The golf bag doesn't weigh nothing when your player's playing good. When your player's playing bad, that mother's like 130 pounds. He's, I don't believe this fool doing this.
Hello, Michael Collins joining us. Finau tees off in about a half hour. So here now the bag's feeling about 100 pounds, though you can rest it on the fairway because you're just watching Sergio hit the ball into the water time and time and time again. So take us down there. Take us to him. Take us to the caddy. What's the conversation? What's happening down there?
The conversation stops after the second ball goes in the water, Golic, man, because after he hits when he hits the first one in the water, going for the green in 2, basically as a caddy, you're saying, hey, man, it's okay. We'll get up and down for par. Not a big deal. Then the second one goes in the water, and you got to drop again. And now you know it's like, all right, just put a good swing on it, trust it. Then that one goes in the water, and then you just hand him the golf ball and don't say nothing because there's nothing that you can say that's going to fix this. When the third one goes in the water, then you back up a little bit. And you just kind of and the fourth one goes in the water, and you only want to look at him because now you gonna laugh. You like, you just gonna keep doing it, huh? You just gonna keep. We ain't got but 2 more balls in golf bag, so you please do. Because now I'm not even gonna get a check. We're not gonna be here for the weekend. Just give me at some point as a caddy, you just want give me the club. Let me do it. But you can't. So the fact that Sergio made a birdie on the next hole, I mean, that tells you a little something there. Sergio 5 years ago, that would have never happened. He would have been tearing the course up, something terrible. But now it's like, you know what I get to do? Come back next year with a green jacket. My baby will be 1. I'm good.
Yeah, Mike and I were saying what he should now do, Michael, because obviously, as you mentioned, as the defending Masters champion, he has to give away the green jacket Sunday. Today, he should just have fun, right? Just bring his buddies to help caddy. I mean, do crazy stuff today. Have at it.
No, look, let me tell you something. As a caddy, there ain't no buddy coming to take my golf bag, right? You know what I mean? Because it's the Masters. I don't care if we shot 100 on the first day. I'm still carrying the bag on day number 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Masters. You do the right thing. But the goal for Sergio, too, you know you got to be here for the whole weekend, so you might as well just enjoy Friday. And who knows, shoot a good round and have something to build moving forward. There's 3 more majors this year. So, you know, there's no reason not to get ready for them, too. And there are other golf tournaments. It's not like we play the Masters and then we're taking off till June.
So, you know, we look at the course this weekend. If it's going to get wet and going to get windy, we talk about this in horse racing all the time. Which horse is the best mudder? Yeah. How does that work for golf? All these guys are used to playing in bad weather, but obviously some can play better than others. Who are those guys? Who could maybe use this as an advantage?
Well, see, that doesn't go here at Augusta National because they have that sub-air system. So the fairways here drain really, really well, and then they flip a switch. And for people who don't know what sub-air is, imagine a shop vac underneath the greens. So as water hits the greens, they flip a switch, and they just start sucking all the moisture out. So guys will be hitting shots in with longer clubs, but those greens are going to stay really firm and really fast. And they can leave them on and control the amount of moisture that's in the greens. You want to talk about a club that's got some money? That's right here.
And one more for you, Michael. Rory McIlroy. Why is it you like his chances today? Just break down what it is specifically about him at Augusta right now.
Because so many other guys were the focus coming into this weekend that Rory didn't have any pressure on him. And you saw what he did on Sunday at the Arnold Palmer Invitational and the way that he played. That's the Rory that we've been waiting for. Confident in his equipment, in his golf ball, and himself. And then you see Rory McIlroy yesterday and showed some glimpses in round 1. And because of that, he's going to have the same confidence going into round 2. Rory now, when he thinks about, I got to win the Masters. He doesn't think that way anymore. He just kind of goes, you know what? I'm just going to go play and see what happens. And when Rory's like that, that's why he's one of the best players in the world. His A game is better than everybody else's.
All right, Michael, the important question. We had heard this year, we hadn't had it confirmed, that some lines that were being yelled out after shots were going to get you tossed from Augusta. Have we heard any of those type of lines, any dilly-dilly lines or anything, or have anybody been removed after saying anything?
No, and that was one of the things you really didn't have to worry about at Augusta National. Look, the Masters is like going to church on Easter Sunday or Christmas Eve. You're not going to act a fool at church on Christmas Eve, are you? No. So now there might be some dilly-dilly T-shirts showing up. Oh, did anybody hear me say dilly-dilly? Then why are you trying to get me in trouble?
We never want to do that, Michael. Thanks so much for the time, man. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
You know I will.
That's Michael Collins, ESPN Golf
Love
Analyst.
his beard, too. He's got the white in the beard. The mix is fantastic.
Oh, he's awesome, man.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Brings
Love
the
the
energy
guy.
and enthusiasm every single time. All right, that's the story when it comes to the Masters. In the meantime, Here's what's trending. Adnan Verk in for Trey. It's Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. As always, you can tweet us at Golic and Wingo, Adnan ESPN, or ESPN Golic. So Kyrie Irving is out for the regular season and the playoffs. From Celtic pride to Celtic sigh. The Celtics said in a statement, Irving will have surgery on Saturday to remove 2 screws in his left knee. He is expected to make a full recovery, but that's 4 to 5 months. This is devastation for Boston. They're done now.
It is, but I really, outside of that knee getting better, and again, we had Woj in here before saying that structurally everything is fine with the screws in there and the hardware. You can get some infections, some bacteria, so they need to let that all get squared away. But if everything structurally is fine, then you're in good shape. Gordon Hayward, if he's coming back and that ankle is structurally fine, you could be in good shape. I continue to say, this is a team built for the future, not now. So them not being in contention this year, isn't a shock to me at all. I didn't think they were going to be. I think they have a hell of a future to build for. Unfortunately, when you're coming off of injuries, there's one thing to being young and growing into everything, or being like in Philly where it's mandatory you miss your rookie year and then some with injury. But now in Boston, you have your two major players coming off of injuries and rehabbing those, getting ready for next year.
Yeah, it's only frustrating in that I agree with you. You don't have high expectations, but once you are the number 2 seed, you say, why not? Maybe this is the year.
They were the 1 seed last year. Nobody thought they were going to do anything, and they did. Right. They got smoked by Cleveland.
Yeah, it ends up being one situation where you have to wait until LeBron shows any sign of decline. Once Cleveland starts to go down a little bit for Boston, now definitely without Hayward and, of course, Kyrie Irving, they're done. UFC star Conor McGregor been charged by New York police. This was absolutely wild if you didn't see it. 3 counts of assault and 1 count of criminal mischief after turning himself into police following an incident in Brooklyn yesterday. He unexpectedly showed up at UFC 223, this media event, at the Barclays Center, and caught on camera throwing a hand dolly through the window of a bus that was carrying UFC fighters. This was chaos.
Yeah, it really was, and it brought up the question to us and a lot of people, because we're getting a lot of people that are saying it was absolutely staged, and we're getting a lot of people that are saying it was absolutely real. And the real part about it that I could absolutely see is there are 3 fights that aren't going to take place tomorrow because of injuries of that dolly going through the glass and cutting some people. So that is real. But there are those that are saying it's just a stunt that went too far. Mm-hmm. The UFC was kind of out of the limelight for a little bit. Was this their way to get back in the limelight? What else is this weekend? WrestleMania. UFC lost Ronda Rousey a while ago, but now she's in the WWE. Mm-hmm. So you don't know. People start to marry some of those things and trying to get headlines, and Dana White, knowing that Conor McGregor can be a cash cow for UFC, said he was absolutely going to be fighting again now. Not so sure. Didn't say no that he wouldn't work with him definitively.
Right.
So I don't know where to go with this one. Was it real? Was it staged? And it just didn't go too far.
Dana White was on Get Up literally 45 minutes ago and had this to say when asked, was it staged or not?
This is the last stunt on earth we would ever pull. I mean, this is embarrassing for the sport and, for obviously for the UFC, and this is the furthest thing from a stunt.
I mean, listen, obviously he would never admit it was a stunt if it was a stunt anyway. So, I mean.
What if he copped to the stunt?
Yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, you got us, stunt. So, you knew he wasn't going to admit that. I still don't know. I could easily be swayed both ways to think this was absolutely real. McGregor and his whole crew getting where, they technically weren't supposed to be, down under the concourse there. And right as that bus was leaving to take these fighters back to the hotel. So I still don't know. I don't know. And maybe we'll never know. I have no idea. If you really do try and pull something like that, how many people know about it? Or if this just was Conor McGregor, because we certainly know.
He is a loose cannon.
He is a loose cannon. So it being real shouldn't be out of the realm either that it could happen. And if it is, forgetting the fact that these fights are off, you got to wonder if lawsuits are coming toward him with guys that are injured, if they're not getting paydays now, or how that's all being handled, what goes on in the future with this. If this was in fact real, there's going to be more down the line with this.
Yeah, I definitely have reason to be suspicious that it's totally in the up and up. I absolutely think that. Sorry.
There you go.
Also, lefty James Paxton is standing alone in left field at Target Field in Minnesota. This was crazy yesterday. He was taking a break from his warm-up throws in the pregame ceremony, and a bald eagle brought in for a flight over the playing field, became confused. Oh no! And rather than soaring to the mound to reach his summoning handlers, the bird's path went towards Paxton. If you're watching ESPN News, look at the way Paxton was just completely unfazed. Challenger kind of found a perch on his right shoulder and then eventually was hustled away. But I'm telling you, my guy's got poise under pressure.
We have all seen this scene before. National anthem's playing, everybody's standing at attention, and the eagle starts to fly around. It's one of the coolest things to see.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And at this point, Paxton's by himself out in the outfield standing there. And again, the comparison and to realize how big this bird is when it gets close to him, and he never moves his feet. He ducks down once and the eagle goes on the ground, and then the eagle goes back up onto his shoulder, and he still doesn't move. It is an amazing thing. The pictures have to be incredible of those that got pictures of it, but kudos to him for just standing there and taking that thing. As he said, I'm not going to outrun an eagle. I get it, but how many people would have freaked out in that situation?
Absolutely.
I would have.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you 100%. I mean, if there's a flying eagle coming at you, and you just, who knows? Like you said, if you show any sign of panic, all of a sudden, how's that eagle going to respond?
Yeah, no idea. No, and you know what? Don't want to find out. He
Right.
handled it like an absolute champ. No question about that.
As Paxton said, maybe he knew I was Canadian. That's why he went after me like that.
Oh, boy.
All right, so that is what is trending.
Yeah.
Also want to mention to you, because you played for the Eagles for a number of years, you know Philadelphia as well as anybody, the booing that Gabe Kapler got. He's literally announced at the season opener, they're off to 1-4 start.
Bad start. He's made a whole lot of pitching changes already.
Yeah, he had 21 pitching changes in the first 3 games, which is unheard of. He is an analytics guy, stat heavy. He's going by the numbers, and already that's rubbing people the wrong way. And so they booed him in Philadelphia. So which one do you think is crazier? Getting booed as the manager of a new team off to a 1-4 start, but they don't have high expectations in Philadelphia. They just don't like his approach, his style, calling for a lefty who is not yet even warm and getting a warning from MLB Baseball. Or Giancarlo Stanton going 0 for 5 strikeouts in his Yankee Stadium debut.
And getting booed after that fifth, I think in the 5th strikeout in the 8th inning, he got booed.
Yeah.
To me, they were two different kind of boos. And the boo in Yankee Stadium to Stanton was frustration over, dude, hit a home run. You know what? You're here to hit home runs. You hit 59 of them last year. We want to see home runs.
Right.
And you're going to see home runs. You saw one the next game, right? Him and Judge and Sanchez.
Right.
All hitting home. I think it was the game after that.
It was, yeah, you're right.
So I think that was more out of, oh my God, dude, 5 times. Seriously, connect on one here. We're frustrated. Boo, you know.
It's cold and it's wet.
And even after the game, he was like, listen, the way I played, I deserve to get booed. The booing in Philly, and listen, most of my career there, they boo for real. For real.
Comes
they
from deep.
Yes. They really do not like what he's doing right now. That was a, dude, you're losing right out of the gate. We know it's a long season, but you're losing. You're changing all these pitchers. You're doing things the way we don't like them. That was a sincere boo, where in New York, I think it was more of a frustrating boo, like, come on, dude, 5 times, tag 1, you know?
Yeah.
Give us something here as we took off from work and we're freezing. Where in Philly it was, man, if there was snow, there'd be snowballs coming at you right now.
Right. Philly's a tough sports
Yeah,
town,
it is.
and I feel like particularly they are tough on the managers and the coaches. Like, Charlie Manuel's winning a World Series with the Phillies. People are still upset the way he's handling the pitching staff. Andy Reid, all those years,
how many
NFC
championship games?
People were just, it was always a punchline. I go,
Yep.
this guy's a great coach. He's had an unbelievable run of success. So now, the latest one to feel that is Gabe Kapler. By the way, the Sixers, here's a really good nugget. Speaking of Philly, they've won 12 straight games, courtesy of our man Justin Page, our researcher. Should the Sixers win their final 4 games and extend that streak to 16 games, they would enter the playoffs as the hottest team ever.
Is that amazing?
The longest win streak to end a regular season was the Royals back in 49-50. They won 15 straight. The Bucks back in 72-73 won 14. BPI gives the Sixers a chance of 70% or better. That's our basketball power index to win against the Cavs tonight, Mavericks, at the Hawks, and the Bucks. They'd be the hottest team ever.
Hot Philadelphia team since the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
City of Champions now.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Winning at sports and at sports broadcasting means changing things up.
Just like La Quinta Inns and Suites is changing up their look.
A renovated lobby that's so contemporary it even makes Golic look cool.
Yes, it does. And a totally updated fitness center that even has Wingo feeling like a workout.
I'm ripped. Plus plenty of comfortable spaces to hang out.
Yep, this La Quinta look definitely has a vibe of victory.
So you can just relax, refresh, and get ready for your next big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Cliff accusing me of being a reckless driver.
A luxury vehicle?
yeah, that was the best part of it. Just tooling around in my luxury vehicle. I wouldn't say, Mike, I'm necessarily a careful driver, but I'm not reckless. That's the one issue I have. Rolling stops, I'm not careful.
I'm not going to lie.
When's the last time you came to a dead stop?
On
a side street?
I've gotten pulled over. Like 2 weeks ago, I kind of rolled through one and got pulled over for it.
Oh, come on.
My son Jake and I are probably we drive a little too fast.
Heavy foot.
And my wife reminds me of that pretty much every time I'm in the car. But yeah, Jake and I have kind of the lead
10
foot.
over,
yeah.
15 over, 20
30 over, give or take.
Depends on the day, depends on the mood. You got somewhere to go. We all get that.
How many people are in the area? That whole thing.
By the way, yeah, if you get stopped by a cop, did you ever try to, hey, do you watch the show?
No, I do not.
No,
I have done this, and I've told my kid to do that. You get pulled over, just, you know what?
Just take it.
You get pulled, just be nice. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Whatever I did wrong. Even if you don't think you did anything wrong, well, what's the big deal? I mean, so you get a ticket, we'll deal with it.
Has a cop ever seen the license? Mike Golic?
Oh, yeah.
Mike.
Now, when I was playing in Philly, what I would do is, because every now and then I'd have to go out and it would do an appearance somewhere, so I'd have pictures.
Yeah.
So I'd leave the pictures out. Like, so if I got pulled over and as I'm pulling over, the pictures, I would like throw them up on like either the passenger seat or up on the dashboard.
Just festooned all in there.
Just so you can kind of see them, and then, sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't.
Right.
But I would always be like very bright and chipper and fine. I'm like, I'm just going to, whatever happens. I'll cool. If it's a ticket, I'm going to pay it.
Right.
Sometimes I get out of it. Sometimes I don't. But, I'm fine. Either way is cool. How about you?
I was going to say polite and respectful is the way to go. Even if I think I'm being aggrieved, I just go, all right, polite and respectful.
Have you ever cried?
I like that you just left it open. Ever? It's been a while. No, ever cried at a ticket? No. I mean, I felt the frustration will start to rise. Because I find, and I think you're the same way, I react to what I'm getting. So if you're going to be polite and just, hey, man, I go, okay, I got it. But they go, hey, do you know, you're like, you know what, don't get your back up at me.
One time I did, because I was getting pulled over. It was cool. My wife was in the car as well. But I kind of kept going to more of an empty area where I get pulled over. Yeah. It was kind of, if I stopped right there, I would have blocked one of the ways of traffic. Yeah. So I kind of kept going and moved to an area where I could pull off to the side.
Right.
And it was in an area where there were other cars, so it's not like I could go very fast.
Right.
And the cop kind of got a little attitude. Why are you driving? I said, listen, if I had stopped right there, I said traffic would have backed up. He said, that's not your concern. You see the light, you pull over. I'm like, dude, I went another 100 yards.
Right.
He goes, I don't know if you're getting ready to take off or not. I'm like, all right, okay. But I mean, I didn't. I pulled over, and I'm giving you a reason why I did. He really kind of got a little belligerent with me for that.
Once they do that, then they get frustrated.
All right. I was on a ride one time when I was playing with the Oilers before my wife and I got married. Chris would drive down with me to Houston when I took my stuff from Cleveland.
Yeah.
And we'd switch off driving. One time we drove down there. She was driving, got pulled over, got a ticket. So I took the wheel.
Pulled over.
No.
Okay.
I drove for a few hours. She got back in the car.
Pulled over
again. She got pulled over again. Pulled over again for it.
I always want to feel like, especially if it's a long drive, you got pinched once, it won't happen again.
Yeah.
But if it does happen the second time,
got nailed.
You're beyond furious.
Twice.
All right, Adnan Verkin for Trey. It's Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Amazing. We haven't gotten to this yet. Tim Tebow has done it again. Well, I'm going to say shock the sports world, but a home run in his first at-bat in Double-A. Good for Tim. Of course, does a great job here with us in the SEC network, and you'll see him with the college football season. And obviously long odds, Mike, we all know that, but nice to see Tim, who did not have a very good spring training, going with his stats, hitting a home run in Double-A's, of course, in the Mets system.
Double-A, the struggling with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
No, not that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The Rumble Ponies.
Smart. Get out of it.
First pitch, though, 3-run shot. So we asked this before with Trey and I.
Uh-huh.
End of the year call-ups, if the Mets are out of it,
He gets
obviously,
called up.
You think he gets
if
called up?
they're out of it, for sure he gets called up.
You think he gets called up?
No matter what, yeah. If they're in it, I don't think he gets called up.
Oh, if they're in it, I don't think there's any way he gets
yeah.
called up.
Right. But if it's like, they're 12 games out, whatever it is, he plays AA most of the year, sure, let's bring him up for
Would it matter
at-bats.
to you how well he would, if he stayed in AA the whole time?
Yeah.
Even if the stats weren't great, because
Sure.
you know he's going to bring the crowds. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Would you still bring him up?
Yeah. Because I say, we're out of it anyways. The fans want to see him. Like you said, he's going to bring crowds. If this helps 5,000 people or 1,000 people or 500 people go to a Mets game just to watch Tim Tebow, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah, good for him, though, too. I mean, listen, he's sticking with it because you wondered. He wants to play in the bigs, obviously, but he loves baseball as well. He's sticking to it. He hit the 2 levels of single A last year. Now he's in AA.
Yeah.
He's giving it a go. The Mets are playing well, so from that aspect, again, we're 6 games in. Pitching's going well. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. So we'll see. I could see them doing it if they're out of it because he's a popular dude. There's no doubt about that. So we'll see where it goes. Do you ever think he'll be in the bigs on a consistent basis?
I don't think so. I think he'll get a few at-bats with the Mets because I don't think that they're going to hang out all year.
And
I don't think he's
I wonder if he gets that, if that will fulfill it for him.
If he gets a handful of at-bats,
if he gets
a couple
called up
hits.
in September, if the Mets are out of it, and I know Met fans are screaming right now. I get it.
Yeah.
But if they're out of it and he gets called up and he gets some at-bats and he made it to the bigs, I wonder if he'll say, okay, I gave it a shot, or if he keeps going.
Yeah, I think he'd want to get more, but like you said, if he's not going to get that offer.
I guess you'd have to see how the year goes.
Correct. But if he goes, let's say 3 for 15, you just go, okay, I got a few hits. I try it, that's it. But there's no doubt his popularity, that magic for him was always big. Speaking of the luck of the Irish and magic, Frozen 4 coverage we had on ESPN2 last night. We're going to have the final on ESPN. That's tomorrow night.
Yes,
but
it is.
Notre Dame does it again, man.
What a big night for them. Thank you very much. Good job out of you, Cliff. I mean, what we talked about with the 3 Final Fours and a lot of the kind of Olympic sports are really hitting their stride. Mm-hmm. Right now, like hockey is, lacrosse will be doing it, baseball, softball, they'll be getting to their championships as we get closer to the summer. But, the men's and women's college basketball and the Frozen Four. And there had been 2 schools that were in 2 of them. Notre Dame was in the Final Four and won the title in the women's basketball. And then obviously the Frozen Four here for Notre Dame. And then Michigan was in the men's Final Four in basketball and went on to the finals. And they were in the Final Four of this until last night when Notre Dame beat them. 3 Big Ten teams. Ohio State was the other team. They lost to Minnesota Duluth last night. Duluth got a couple of quick goals and held on for a 2-1 win. Notre Dame had been doing what Notre Dame had been doing this postseason. 5th straight postseason game. They scored in the final minute or overtime. Crazy game here. They were up 3-2. Michigan scores with 5 minutes to go. 10 seconds ago, Notre Dame gets the puck. Cam Morrison takes it up the left side, dishes a nice pass to Jake Evans right in the front of the net. 5-hole on the goalie. Mm-hmm. They score with 5 seconds to go to win it against Michigan, who had been in a ton of Final Fours. Notre Dame was in the finals back in 2008, lost to Boston College. Now they're in the finals again against Minnesota Duluth. So big night in college hockey. Listen, I was at Notre Dame. Hockey was still, they dropped after I left. Hockey and wrestling. Wrestling still is not back, and it's a shame. I hate that. My brother Bob wrestled there. Yeah. I wrestled there. I love wrestling. It was dropped at Notre Dame, and it has not come back. I used to work the hockey games at Notre Dame.
What was it? You're like a timekeeper or something?
I would work the penalty box.
Oh, yeah.
I would work the opponent's penalty box, and it was amazing when the penalty was over, the door always jammed.
Right.
Yeah.
How did that happen sometimes?
I don't know how it happened.
For the opposing penalty box.
I would have to let the opposing player out and it jammed.
I wish I could
and I couldn't open it.
Another 5 more seconds. Oh, we scored a power play goal.
But then, after I left it, like I said, it went away like wrestling did, but then it came back as a club and now it's back in now first year in the Big Ten, and they've been pretty dominant for a while and now playing for the title. So very cool.
No, the passion of the college hockey is always pretty huge. Yep. And the guys at John Butchergrass,
Barry
Melrose, John Brickley,
fantastic,
Dave Starman, Sean Richard, great stuff there from the entire crew.
Love scoring amazing hotel deals? Then you've got to get the Hotel Tonight app. Forget scrolling through never-ending lists of hotels. Hotel Tonight shows you a select list of incredible deals at hotels you actually want to stay at. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can book up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else. Want to get those deals? Yeah, you do. Download the Hotel Tonight app now.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. I'm Adnan Burkin for Trey. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Crazy NBA numbers all day. And, of course, the major story is that Kyrie Irving is now done for the Celtics, and Boston is effectively done when it comes to contending this year. But it's a crazy race right now in the West. And Woj just mentioned it earlier Gary Harris out 10 games and Denver's hanging out. But the Clippers are 2 games out of the 8th seed in the West. So if they fail to reach the playoffs, it'll be the first time since 1976. The NBA postseason did not feature a team from New York, Los Angeles, or Chicago.
Wow.
The 3 biggest cities in America would not have a team in the playoffs. Now, some are. I don't want to say who, but some are saying. For the first time since 1960. But in 1976, the Buffalo Braves made the playoffs. The Knicks did not.
Okay, there you go. It depends on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, New York State, look at it. Yeah,
try to cover both sides of that, because if you didn't, we know there would have been tweets. There will be tweets.
There will be tweets.
Yeah.
Bottom line, that is so crazy to think that all that time, those are major markets. And it's been a great NBA season. And no matter what, we're going to have some intrigue in the Western Conference. And, of course, tonight, that 3-seed matchup is going to be great when it comes to Philadelphia and what they can do against Cleveland. Sixers have won 12 straight. Will there be snacks, the man asked. Yep, street for the snacks. Correct pick last week for Mike Golic was Shohei Ohtani getting the first win, his first win for the Angels, which he did in his debut. He was very sharp. He was averaging about 97, 98 with the fastball, touched 100 a couple of times, only had the one bad pitch, he wins. Now Golic must risk a Tier 2 candy.
Right.
Which is a bite-sized candy bar.
Again, there are 5 tiers to this. I beat last week's, which is just a snack sitting around, which is gummy bears. So I did the right pick. I can either pick the game if I think the game is something I want to pick, or I can take the snack. So this week it's a bite-sized candy bar, which is what, a little Reese's. Yeah,
we got a little Reese's peanut butter cup.
Peanut butter cup. It's that. If I get this right, I move on to a full-size candy bar if I pick the game. If I get that right, I move on to a box of donuts. And if I win that, I move on to a cake. So it's take a chance, but if I don't like the game and I don't want to pick it, I'll take the snack. So what game is it?
Yeah, I was going to say, it depends just how hungry you are. By the way, last week you picked Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
I want you to Shohei the way.
I really like that, by the way.
That was really good. Jerry
I really
did a nice
do
job
like
with
that.
Yeah.
Way better than the other one we did, where Jerry sings.
Oh, you don't want to hear that one? Okay, fine. That's right.
Horrific.
All right, so the game.
Yeah.
Since you've been into the college hockey, Frozen Four,
Okay.
Minnesota Duluth versus Notre Dame.
Oh.
The 2018 Frozen Four final. Championship game set 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN. So you can pick the game and risk a better snack option next week, or take the snack on the table. This is shades of a European vacation. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The Griswolds.
Absolutely.
Do you want the game or be a pig? Be a pig. Yeah.
Listen, I got chastised, and I was tired of losing to Rebecca Lobo every year, right?
Yeah, Lobo's unbelievable.
When Notre Dame was playing UConn in the national semifinals in the Final Four in the women's college basketball, I said, listen, I want Notre Dame to win, but I'm not betting Lobo. You know, I'm all of a sudden I'm in a UConn, cheerleading outfit, or she's painting my face and putting the paint in my mouth, or doing some other God knows what to me because I lost a bet.
Yeah.
I'm tired of losing to her, so I didn't bet. I didn't make the wager, and of course Notre Dame wins, and everybody's railing me for it.
Yeah.
So here I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. I got to stick with my school. So listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like I can break down this game.
Yeah.
But I love watching hockey. I do. To me, it's still
the best
spectator sport to be in the building. Hockey is the best. So Minnesota Duluth against Notre Dame again tomorrow night, 7:30 on ESPN. I will take the Fighting Irish to win the title, and I will risk the peanut butter cup. So you can go ahead and eat it.
Now, I was going to say, this is great news for me now. Forward Thinking brought to you by Cintas, a trusted partner of businesses everywhere. Cintas, ready for the workday. So I get the bite-sized candy bar.
How great this would be, too, for Notre Dame. Not that I, want to, toot the horn on my own school here, but be national champs in hockey, national champs in women's college basketball. They already won the national championship in fencing for the 10th time. Yeah. We're a fencing school now. I mean, come on. What are we talking about here?
You are feeling pretty good.
What is that cup? What is that? They do all the sports.
The sword?
No, the sword. Yeah, when they give the points for all the sports and how well they do.
Stanford always wins it. I know you're
Stanford
talking about,
usually wins that thing. Yeah, I forgot what it's called because Notre Dame doesn't win it. So
Justin Page will look it up. Our research.
Yeah. Nobody knows what that is. I don't know what it is. I keep forgetting because I see Stanford usually at the top of that, so I get ticked off.
I played Canadian ignorance. One of the things I know you'll be watching.
It's the Capital One Cup. Okay.
Yeah, Capital One Cup.
Whatever. Used to be called something different until, of course, it got a sponsor.
One other thing I want to throw at you tomorrow, speaking of tomorrow night, 7:30 is the hockey. 8 o'clock is the debut of Paterno, which is the new HBO movie. Yeah. Al Pacino playing Joe Paterno.
How about that?
Have you seen any of the commercials for it?
I've seen a few of the commercials.
It's unbelievable.
It's going to be amazing.
Al's 77. He looks great for his age.
He
but
does.
In the movie, he was on Bill Simmons' podcast, and he goes, like, how'd you make yourself look older? And he goes, at my age, you just want to be who you are.
Yeah.
And at 84, he said the key was the glasses and the nose. He had to wear a prosthetic nose. Because he goes, that's the first thing you think of with Paterno. But I know some people maybe don't want to see that.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people, that see how they play that one out.
Yeah, but I think he's obviously a brilliant actor. I love him, so I'm curious. The movie is going to be pretty unbelievable. So Paterno tomorrow night.
I am as well. Looking forward to that. So let's a couple other things because I want to mention this tournament I'm going to play in because I have something on the line to win it.
Yeah.
How about the Masters? Who do you think you think Spieth is going to run away with it?
I think so. At this point, the way he shot yesterday, 6 under 66. I mean, I don't expect him to have that lowest score today, but I also don't see him falling back to the pack. Think about this: 17 rounds at the Masters he's played, and 9 of those he's had at least a share of the lead. I think certain guys, just like how Michael Collins said, Phil Mickelson at Augusta, guys get in their groove, they feel comfortable. There's a real feel for it. Spieth to the Masters, I love it. But I'm pulling for Tony Finau.
Is this his fourth time in the Masters? For Spieth, 5th time in the Masters. He's never not been in the final group on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a joke what Spieth has done. Finau would be a phenomenal story.
Just look at an ankle. He's awesome.
Just to make myself look good, I picked Ricky Fowler, who is at 2 under, 4 back. So we'll see where that goes. Phil's at 1 under, what he can do. Everybody will want to know if Tiger can make any kind of comeback. We'll see what he can do today. But a lot of people, we had Nota Begay and Michael Collins. They basically think between 10 under and 12 under is where Jordan Spieth will be after today's round, and how close will everybody else be? So we'll see.
And Tiger tees off at 1:27 Eastern today. Of course, we'll have our Masters coverage. Scott Van Pelt, Michael Leaves, Matt Berry, the entire crew doing a fantastic job there. It's also WrestleMania. A lot of talk about John Cena versus Undertaker.
Yeah, WrestleMania. You have UFC 223 as well. And I'm golfing in the Monday after the Masters, with Darius and Hootie and the Blowfish. And I tried to tell Darius if I finish in the top 20, he has to come on and host this show and praise me. And if I get outside the top 20, he's got to come on the show and host it, and he can rip me. Either way, host this show, which is a win for us.
That's going to be great. Darius could do the entire show.
Yeah. He may not want to do it. He hasn't agreed to it yet, but I'm trying to.
We're putting it out there. If you want to do it, it's yours. Golic and Wingo, thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, everybody.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person.
Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that, because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.